الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل.
Terrorism is violence, the unlawful use of force or violence against person or property to intimidate or compel the government, the public or any segment thereof in the pursuit of a political or social object.
International terrorism is defined as terrorism that goes beyond national boundaries in terms of method used, target, and location from which terrorists operate. For instance, like Al-Qaeda and Daesh. The first impacts of international terrorism is creating an inaccurate perception of Islam religion. The activities of Islamic extremists using the name of Islam for the benefit of their groups cause the world community to misinterpret Islam and its believer. This action will lead to the Islamophobia. For example, the incident of an attack on two mosques which are Al-Nur and the Linwood Mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand on Friday, 15 March 2019, that killing 15 innocent people and injuring many other worshippers. This is one of the biggest incidents that causes from the Islamophobia. The second impact is the society will develop new habits and behaviors. The society will learning not to be passive in case of the terrorist attacks. They will always be careful and also always keeping in the backs of their thoughts that the possibility a terrorist attack could be take place. Other than that is terrorism directly lead to the economic destruction of property and also life.
Terrorism is one of the most important threats that we will face in the modern world. So that's why we need to study about terrorism, which to keep constant alert to detect and deter terrorists before it happen, and also to avoid situation in which we will be in the middle of terrorist activities. One of the types of terrorists is state-sponsored terrorists. State-sponsored terrorism means government use of violence against its own people or in support of international violence. For example, Iran declared US as a state-sponsored terrorist, and also US declared Israel as a state-sponsored terrorist.
The second type of terrorism is cyber-terrorism. Cyber-terrorism is a term that refers to the combination of virtual worlds and terrorism. It refers to the unlawful attacks and threats of assaults on computer networks and the information content therein that are carried out with the intent of threatening or pressuring a government or its citizens in order to promote political or social objectives.
Terrorism can be shown from the conflict between Palestine and Israel. Israel's population is more than 9 million people, which Jewish is the majority, while Palestine, which derived from the Greek word Philistia. The people of Arab that live in this territory are called as Palestinians. Palestine have been ruled by numerous groups, which are Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, Romans, Arab, Fatimids, and several more. Much of the region was ruled by Ottoman Empire since 1517 to 1917. From 1880 to 1914, European Jews founded Zionist movement and immigrated to Palestine during the Ottoman Empire. Israel declared itself as an independent state after the partition plan by United Nations for Palestine was introduced in 1947. The establishment of state then be prevented by neighboring Arab armies moved, but by the end of the war in July 1949, Israel controlled more than two-thirds while Jordan took control of the West Bank and Egypt took control of the Gaza Strip. The conflict starts when Arab groups argue their population that represent as the major in certain region which need to be granted more territory while Jewish leaders accept the plan of the partition.
Now I will explain about who are main actors involved in Israel-Palestine terrorism. The firstly, we have Palestine. Palestine are the area of Eastern Mediterranean region comprising parts of modern Israel and the Palestinian territory of the Gaza Strip along the coast of Mediterranean Sea and the West Bank west of the Jordan River. Palestine is a small region of land that has played a prominent role in the client and also modern history of the Middle East. Next, we have Israel. Israel is the world's only Jewish state located just east of the Mediterranean Sea. It is a Middle Eastern country on the Mediterranean Sea, regarded by Jews, Christians, and Muslims as the biblical Holy Land. Most of the people of Israel also called as the Jewish people. Next, the other party who involved in the war between the Palestinians and also Israel is Hamas. Hamas is a militant Islamic political movement that does not recognize Israel. Hamas is classified as a terrorist organization by Israel, the US, Japan, and the European Union and Canada. Since 2006, Hamas has run Gaza, which is situated in between Israel and also the Mediterranean Sea. Other than Hamas, it also has Fatah. Fatah is a Palestinian nationalist social democratic party. Fatah was founded by Yasser Arafat and is considered more moderate in its approach to Israel and is in favor of a two-state solution.
There are several issues or incidents that can be mentioned in this part as how does the conflict or the action of Israeli that can be considered as terrorism. Palestinians were attacked by Israeli police when participating in a run-off event. There are 23 participants injured as they used fired tear gas and stationary grenades in Jerusalem. The run was held with Palestinian families who were evicted from their own house. Israeli forces attacked Al-Aqsa Mosque. At least 47 Palestinians were hurt by tear gas and rubber bullets, and minimum 9 of them were hurt after Israelis stormed the mosque on Friday, which they are having Friday prayers followed by a prophet rally that joined by the worshippers. This shows that Israelis are go beyond toward Palestinians even they are praying or in the mosque to worship. During Ramadan, Israeli security forces stormed the mosque several times, during which injured hundreds of Muslims. Israel bombed school in Gaza. In this incident, 15 people were killed and there were many more injured in the bombs incident.
Next, I will explain about the impact of terrorism between the Israel and Palestinian. Firstly, hundreds of innocent humans' lives were sacrificed. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine has killed and wounded many people. It has done even greater damage to the heart of both Judaism and Islam. For example, the health ministry in Gaza recorded 830 Palestinians were hurt and 253 were killed, including 66 children, 39 women and 17 old people, plus 20 critical that result cumulative total around 1,948 were hurt in a military airstrike in Gaza.
Based on the research, 37.2% of Palestinian students were reported having the symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder. The nature of conflicts and the violence that happen between two parties give a much higher percentage of Palestinians have been exposed to political violence, functional impairment, and PSTD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder as the mental illness.
There are actually several factors why war happened among the Israel and Palestine. Israel and Palestine both claim the same land, and a compromise has proven difficult to find. Both Jews and Arab Muslims date their claim to the land back a couple thousand years. The current political conflict began in the early 20th century. The Israel, fleeing persecutions in Europe, wanted to establish a national homeland in what was then the Palestinians resisted, saying the land as rightfully theirs. Next, the second factor is because 27 days before the first rocket was fired from Gaza, a squad of Israeli police officers entered the Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, brushed the Palestinian attendants aside, and strode across its vast limestone courtyard. They also cut the cables of loudspeakers that broadcast the prayers to the faithful from 4 multiple minarets. Besides, for these decisions to close off a popular plaza outside the Damascus Gate, one of the main entrances to the old city of Jerusalem, was the conflict among them, as the Palestinians assumed that the action as insulting them. From here, it led to protests among the two groups.
Terrorism did not begin on early this year, but that terrible day did change the world. The attacks on the Palestinian of Israeli terrorism had killed thousands innocent people, showed us that terrorism had morphed into a global phenomenon that could cause massive pain and destruction anywhere. Despite the impact of terrorism was being felt anywhere, The promotion of peace, equality, tolerance, and dignity for all are universal values that transcend our national differences. They are the glue that binds us together, united as nations and people of the world. We must come together to protect our common humanity. Last but not least, terrorism needs to be stopped in order to secure nations from future attacks.
So I'm gonna stand up, take